Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness. Aye, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and on the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop.
Where are your friends now? Have they gone away? Or have they left you to go astray? It could never be. That's what I used to say, but it just has to be. Where are your friends now? Have they gone away? Or left you to go astray? It could never be. That's what I used to say, but it just has to be there the very way as when you left me. Where are those friends now? Oh yeah, where are they? Why don't you get down on your knees and pray? Even prayer wouldn't help me, because it has to be just the same way, the very way as when you left me. I used to say that nothing could ever come between you and me.
All right, and that song from you guys know Eddie Hooper. Where are your friends now? Where are your friends now? Eddie Hooper. I see Desiree Emmanuel and all of you guys already know that it's Eddie Hooper. Keith Beresford seems to know a lot. Keith Beresford, I'm watching you. Says that he played music 60-something years ago. But where are your friends now? That is what a lot of people in Guyana sometimes ask when they are in serious problems. And Jagdeo was once in that situation, probably still is. And now, look, Brutus is in this situation. Where are your friends now? He is probably in the same position Diddy is in, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy is in. Where are your friends now? Brutus, where are your friends now? Lincoln, I recall when we used to protest. in the streets out there. We're looking around. We're like, when we get locked up, where are our friends now? Good night to you, Lincoln Lewis. How are you, sir?
I am great tonight. Looking forward for a good show.
Yep, really nice to have you. Let us start off right off the bat. Glad that you're here with us, but we'll deal with the niceties later on. Let's remove this guy right off for now, Brutus. Right, we got cost of living, we have everything we want to talk about. But let us take this time out to extend condolences to the family and friends and colleagues of Franklin Longhorn. I recall Franklin, I worked with him at GBC. Yes, he worked years there, but I just did a short stint in the early 90s at the Guyana Broadcasting Corporation. And so he's a former colleague of mine. I bet you don't recall, I did some programs at GBC, the Guyana Broadcasting Corporation. I was also a court reporter there. And also I did Man in the Streets for the Guyana Broadcasting Corporation. Franklin was there, nice guy, great human being. And so condolences to the family. Lincoln, your take on Franklin Longhorn.
Well, it struck me when I heard this evening that Franklin has passed. It was only approximately about 4:15 this afternoon. We were in Critchlow Labour College, where we taught for some time, and we were recapping his sojourn there. And Trevor Williams, who a former MP who went to the college during the tenure of Franklin, he was talking about the impact he has made on the lives of a number of persons who are now in strategic positions in public life today. Only to be, even at that point, I didn't know that the order of his passing. It's tonight I heard that he has passed. And life would have had it yesterday. One of the staff, a new staff, who has been there for 3 years, came to me and asked me if I knew of a person named Franklin Long. And somebody's asking if he still lectures at the college. I say he used to be here. So maybe his Franklin spirit was roaming, and while he may have gone, his spirit is still around. Condolences to his entire family.
Absolutely,
Maybe
condolences.
use his life, maybe use the successes of his life as a barometer upon we are going to shape ours, we who remain here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, dear Lincoln, and your reflection on Franklin Longhorn, those who worked with him at GBC. During my time, or even before, or even after my time there at the Guyana Broadcasting Corporation. Condolences to his family. Franklin Longhorn. Goodbye, sir. All right, Lincoln, let's touch, first of all, let's at least allow this Franklin's passing for a good 30 seconds before we move on to some other news. Now, as we move on to other news, Brutus, the fiasco in the Guyana police force, what's happening there? Just so that you guys know, they met with some folks at the U.S. Embassy. It says here, police force in pivotal meeting with U.S. Embassy regional security officer. And so they got dressed up, they got there, and they're there for serious talks, serious talks. Of course, absent from that meeting is Brutus. Lincoln Lewis, veteran trade unionist, also the general secretary of the Guyana Trades Union Congress. What's happening with the Guyana police force, sir? Not just about Brutus controversy, but what's happening with the Guyana police force?
The Guyana police force is a microcosm of the problems of this society. What happens day to day in our lives, not only in the force, but outside of the force. Let me tell you that Brutus and others, their problem were not only self-made, but they were made by the society that we live in. Because the things that are happening there is indicative that people are trying as far as practicable to amass wealth and more so to help their families and their families in the first instance. Let me give you an example. If you, those who live in Georgetown, if you go down Vincent Road, there's a continuous process of putting cameras at various points, even Regent Street and Breakdown. A lot of cameras. Those cameras are being installed there, but I guess that for security purposes, and I guess the people who will have to man those cameras are the police who will be placed in various locations. But whatever criminality may have occurred, and those cameras may pick them up, it is the policemen who will have to really go after those people who have committed the infractions. You live in a society where the order of the day is to give criminality somewhat blessings, and because of that, the recipient of what flow from it are the people who not only make laws but make policies in this country. And if they are involved in it, then the policemen are going to take the cue from them. And more so, let me tell you, if you pay the salaries of these people who are being employed, in fact, as police and public officers, it cannot meet the level to take care of their day-to-day life. And as such, they will be involved, they will continue to be involved in criminality. But this criminality, as I said, the blessings come from the top. They do it, so we are going to do it. And more so, let me say to you that unless we address the remuneration of the police force, we are going to continue having police officers involved in criminality at all levels. What you pay
even
for,
if that is exactly, Lincoln Lewis, even if that is addressed, they have many senior police officers who are comfortable making what they're making now through bribes and all manner of things. Some probably make $5, $6, $10 million per month. So that's it, or $60,000 per month for senior officers. Do you think we are at a stage as to how, especially since the PPP has contaminated the entire nation with corruption, do you think there's a chance to change that?
It can change. You know, there are a number of factors that ought to be taken into consideration. As I said, one is the question remuneration for these people, and more so, what we have to do is start jailing the people who are elected to office and raping the national coffers. They are setting the example for the other people to follow. We got to start. We got to be strong on these issues. Unless we are strong on these issues, we're not going to get anywhere. You know, what we have is a situation where we behave like the issue of universal principles and practices mean nothing to us, and that's what we have to take note of. There are laws. This is a society with laws, but what we do is respect the laws in the breach. We have to stop doing it like that. We got to stop when somebody commits an offense, we are prepared to take a bribe or offer a bribe. Many people offer a bribe. We have to allow the courts to do their work. And you have a situation, policemen have said to me, one day I was talking, I stopped at a police station. I live on the East Coast, so I stopped at the police station. And I was talking with a group of policemen. And they have said to me, whenever these big trucks pass and they commit an infraction, the driver commit an infraction, they stop them. All that they do is to make a call and somebody will come on the phone and tell them, let it go, let them go, which is indicative that there is immunity. There is immunity when it comes to certain persons breaching the law. The law don't mean anything for them and the people who are above. Those things got to be stopped.
It's
Those
got to
things
be
are being
stopped.
done by our politicians.
And it's condoned exactly by them. They're not being held responsible or accountable for their acts. And this brings me to this here.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Zhurong?
So my relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, he is a friend of ours.
Okay, so Lincoln, absolutely nothing came out of this situation here. But how do you feel when this guy is accused, Barrett is being accused of corruption, is meddling into the affairs of allegations by others without any sort of justice, or him being answerable to the people as it pertains to serious allegations leveled against him, corruption leveled against him?
Let me say to you that this is a man who always accused people of being dishonest, being corrupt, and what have you. And nobody wants to take him on that issue about corruption. Nobody wants to talk to him about the wealth that he has amassed, right? What he has done there with this reporter who interviewed him, right? He has no moral authority to tell anybody in the police force that what is happening, that the society see that is wrong, that they ought to be sanctioned or anything. Because he is equally culpable, like the men who are out there, who are accused. He has not said, he's a person who always say that we are going to set a commission, or I'm going to have it, let us investigate, let us find out what happened. Why we don't want to find out? Why Ali didn't set a commission or advise Ali to set a commission or some committee to inquire into the relationship between himself and Sue? They're not going to do that. But a little man who may be around the corner may be accused of something, they will shout and bring the heavens down. If all these guys got to prove to us where they got the wealth from, then we are going to know that what we have is a cabinet of brigands.
Absolutely. 22 minutes after 9 o'clock, allegations that Barrett Jagdeo has a big fat bank account in China, a big fat bank account with billions of dollars. I don't know, maybe we can start hearing from Jagdeo about that. Also, 19 fraud charges. Guys, don't forget, 19 fraud charges leveled against him as well. But yet, these are the individuals who are talking about corruption and going after people, after certain people. Not everybody, because they know who the corrupt ones are in the country. This takes me now to back to Brutus and allegations of corruption, serious allegations of corruption. The fact that we have heard that he received a tune of maybe over 50 million Guyana dollars in gifts for a wedding. You can't tell me that Jagdeo has never received gifts, and this is not justifying this guy. We'll get to him shortly. It is said that Jagdeo has received hundreds upon hundreds of millions of dollars of gifts. It is said that Irfan Ali received gifts from persons who are questionable in terms of how they get their monies. Some persons have been sanctioned by U.S. Agencies. Some persons are wanted by U.S. law enforcement agencies as well. Irfan Ali has received vehicles and all manner of things from individuals. So let them not go after Brutus as though they are angels. They are not. But we'll talk about Brutus. But before we do, let's go to what Jagdeo said today concerning allegations leveled against Brutus.
Cordell Jones from Livewire News. There's been a lot of public consternation over large bank deposits being made by a senior police officer, with reports that another senior officer justified this in an affidavit. Is the government concerned about these developments?
So let me make it clear that there is no attempt to discriminate against anyone. I've seen recently a slew of social media people who are linked to the opposition, particularly the extreme ones, attempting to portray this issue as a race issue. But that's predictable. Let me make it clear what our policies are. We support the police force. We support the leadership of the police force. We support them to do their work, but they must comply with the laws of this country. The PPP will not tolerate corruption in the police force or anywhere else. And when we find corruption in the police force or anywhere else, there will be no attempt to cover it up. So if you believe that you have a special relationship with the government and that we will, pursuant to that relationship, cover up your misdeeds, you have it wrong. You don't know the PPP. When this matter surfaced, the opposition was saying that these individuals, or this particular individual, was linked to the government of Guyana. And they did not trust that there will be an impartial investigation. The AFC and the PNC called for external body to investigate because they believe that there will be a cover-up. We made it clear at that time that the investigations would be professional and there would be no interference from the executive to steer the investigation either way, and that the chips may fall where they may. I said those words. In the investigations, the impartial investigation, done by an arm of the police force, there is a recommendation that went to the DPP to lay multiple charges against the individual for breaches of the law. I see the particular individual now filing a constitutional motion claiming that somehow the executive, the same executive, the PPP or the executive, is influencing the course of the the investigation. APNU was saying something different. They were saying, we will help this individual. We'll cover up what he was doing. He is now saying we are influencing it to lay charges against him. We have no interest whatsoever in that. But if you did illegal things, you will face the consequences. And from all that I've read, that a lot of wrong things took place. A lot of illegalities took place. And so we will respond to the constitutional motion in court. And since some charges were made, trust me, our affidavit to respond to those charges may not be beneficial to the particular individual, because we will go into great details about what our findings were in the procurement system. And so when he was heading the administration of the police force. So further, I don't want to say anything on the matter. And let me also make it clear here today that this government never sanctioned a policy where...
I know some of you wouldn't believe me, but if a lie asks me good friend Mackie, it was a big lying competition to see who they will crown as lying champion. Liars from all parts of the West Indies, big shot liars from all them foreign countries. From a feel about 1,000 or so entry in 2 days, he boiled down and leave just 3. I had me eye on liar the lion, because I know he does come with some good ones. But they had a younger fella named Debo, come from some village there in Tobago. He said his father is too big.
That is lie. You hear lies? Lincoln, and sorry, and let me say to our listeners, we had to play that in almost its entirety, because everybody in Guyana knows Jagdeo. All of the serious allegations of corruption leveled against Jagdeo. No one is brought to justice if they're connected to Jagdeo. So-called businessmen, you name it, no one is brought to justice. So this guy sits there and pretends as though he's all about justice and he wants justice. What were the thoughts going through your mind as you were listening to this hypocrite?
You know, the PPP can stage manage things very well. I don't know what they will do, but I know for a fact that they can manage something, stage manage it to convince the world that they are doing the right thing. Jagdeo is not truthful about anything. Even if the truth falls on his head or on his lap, he will not recognize it. He raised about, the guy asked about Brutus, and he gone all around the place. What he needs to do is to release the police force from the clutches of the PPP and allow the police force to do its work. He needs to look at what at the whole question of at the economy, what can be done to cause people not to only have faith in the discharge of their business, but to have an opportunity that they can live comfortably on the monies that are around the place. That is important to you. He can talk about all the things about to say how clean he is. He cannot come out to say where he has amassed the wealth from. He has been able to get 2 pieces of state property, one at Pradoville 1 and get at Pradoville 2. As head of government, head of state, you can't be doing that. And then you're telling the other man, the small man down there, that he can't get 2, he can't get 1 at at paradise and get another one at success. But you, because of your privileged position, you have decided that you are going to take two. These are the type of things. Yes, we have to start there. And if we start there, then we will be able to open a can of worms that this guy is not honest in anything that he says.
Well said, Lincoln. And just to talk about the two lots, this is what he did. Barra Jagdeo, when he was quote unquote president of Guyana, he gave his friend, who was then Minister of Housing, Mohammed Irfan Ali, two plots of land up the Linden-Soesdijk Highway. The evidence is there. Lots 33 and lots 35. He gave it, but yet they're saying the small man can't have. So I just thought I'd remind folks of that. The hypocrisy. We just heard him. Now, one of the things he said about Brutus, in other words, he's threatening Brutus, that Brutus, since Brutus is taking them to court, in their affidavit, he is going to reveal what the allegations are or what he is claiming Brutus did, all the corruptions he's going to release in the affidavit. How serious are those threats against Brutus coming from Barra Jagdeo?
Let me tell you, the PPP is good at not taking on the people who work for them. All these things that he's talking about, I don't believe any word. And even if they go there, at some point they are going to make it easy for charges to be thrown out. That's what they're going to do. I always say that they have a streak that is very dishonest. They are the type of people who talk about things that they say one thing outside and behind closed door they do something else. And we have to take note of those type of things. Mr. Brutus has to know what is his defense. But I believe that all that happened, Brutus is not a madman to just come out and do something. The things that he has been involved in, allegedly involved in. He's not a madman. He must have been influenced, or he must have been given sanction by some of these guys. Let him go ahead. Let the can of worms turn up. Let us know, because Brutus would know something. Let us know, let the country know how our business has been transacted over the period. Who has been involved in scheming our money? Let me give you an example. These guys are corrupt to the bone. There's a matter now which is involved billions of dollars, where pensioners are paid. And these are pensioners who are dead, right? These people who are paid, these people, they have new ID cards for these persons, a number of ID cards for these persons, and hundreds of books were printed for them, right? But all these people are dead. But a photograph appeared on the ID card. And these vouchers were cashed at the post offices across, many post offices across Region 4, right? They were there cashed. They must have been, and today what they're doing, they're harassing the employees at the post office to say they know about it. How can, there has to be a collusion between the, what you call, people in GCOM and the Ministry of Social Services. Because what you've had, these are dead people who these vouchers are printed for. And they are cash through certificate, what you call ID cards provided of people who are alive. So it's a serious situation, and this is billions of dollars. There must have been collusion between people in various agencies. I don't believe that this here can be a scam that involves two clerks. It has to be people at the highest policy making position in these agencies, like the Ministry of what do you call it? Public
So social security.
services,
Yeah.
and GCOM itself. And if possible, it may have been an act that initiated by some political party in this country. This is our money. And this is the type of collusion that we're getting already. And our money coming from oil and gas. That is what they are doing. And we need to take that into consideration as we move forward.
Thank you. Take that into consideration. You mentioned birth certificates and dead voters and so forth. Jagdeo admitted that his party, some dead person voted. He admitted to a corruption. Just imagine if another party, the PNC or whichever other party, admitted to such corruption. Jagdeo admitted to corruption. Dead person voted. And they only identified that one because they got caught. There was no other way. He got caught, and so he had no other choice but to say, yes, there was corruption. But is it at this point in time, the investigations against Brutus? Are you surprised, Lincoln, that Jagdeo is basically saying publicly that Brutus, the senior police officer, is corrupt?
It will not be surprising for Mr. Jagdeo to entertain that thought. If you check in the press conference Mr. Jagdeo had today, Mr. Jagdeo said they changed from the $200,000 to $100,000 because there were people, because everybody were running around trying to get bogus what we call tenancy agreement, right? So they would have ended up with over 600,000 households. So they had to change to that. This man take a past people, you know. This guy this guy is demonizing the society. This man is saying that the people in this society are criminal-minded. So him going to Brutus is not something new. He always tried to criminalize people to move the focus on himself. This is something that is serious. This do not stop at Brutus. You see, he went on to, and the first thing he said that the opposition tried to make it a race issue. I don't know how it ended up there. But this guy has to be told where to get off. This issue, while you ask the question mark, this issue do not stop at Brutus. This man is accusing the nation, a significant portion of the people in this society, that we are criminal-minded. So it's not surprising you said that about Brutus.
It's not surprising at all, and it shows where with the direction that this case is going, the investigations. We have lots of other things we want to talk about, but briefly before we go, it shows that they are closing in on Brutus in terms of charging him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's charged by tomorrow or Monday. Are you surprised, though, Lincoln, that they blocked him from leaving the country, from what we are hearing, that they stopped him from leaving?
Unless these are things, you know, you don't know what the PPP will do. The people will call Brutus behind closed door and make a deal, man. That's how they operate. Let me tell you something. What you have in this society today, do not take it lightly. What you have is Trumpism. You have had Brutus, you have had Trump, you do have Trump with 34 fraud charges. You had Ali with 19 charges. They were dropped. And Trump now is fighting that he gets into our office and he pardons himself. So you have to understand the thinking of these men and women who runs that political machinery, right? They will talk with Brutus. They will make a deal. Because as I'm saying to you, I still believe that Brutus could not have been acting, all the accusation, he could not have been acting separate and distinct and outside of the way you call the knowledge of many. I'm going to tell you something. When this government changed, they believe that everything is secret and everything. There were men who call people senior in government who call the police force and give them instructions. Who must get what? They have done so. And we've seen it happening every day. The issue, we know that the issue, I know of a person who's been given a large, what you call, they came to me, the evidence came to me where the state has given somebody a large, what we call, contract for supplying of granite, but the person don't even have a quarry. Okay? That person have gone to people and asked them, you're going to supply and I'm going to give you this. You supply it. But part of the money gone to, you know where it gone? To Rob Street. And that is only one of them. There are many, many others where these things are happening, where contracts are given to people and they have to hand over a certain percentage. Let me tell you, let me make this point now. Understand it. Everything, things that people believe are secret in this country and will never come out. We live in a small society, very small society. The moment it occurs, somebody call and tell somebody else. Tell a friend or a family what is happening. So this government that believes that that people don't know the shenanigans that they're involved in, they are in for a rude awakening. There are ministers in this government who have in excess, who owns, who worth in excess of $4 billion US. These guys, and until such time that its society becomes, this society recognizes that the monies that they are creaming off, it belongs to us, we're not going to get anywhere.
You know, Lincoln, on that note, it's the taxpayers' monies. They're stealing it left, right, and center. And they seem to be going after Brutus. And Brutus must stand up and defend himself. It is alleged that he received over $50 million from business people, I'm assuming, for his wedding. Seems as though wedding is a lucrative business. Maybe Jagdeo should get into it. Real weddings, Jagdeo, not fake ones. Having said that, though, let us just say, in the interest of transparency and fairness, which is what we believe in here at 107.1 FM, we reached out to Mr. Brutus, Officer Brutus. We reached out to Brutus to give his side of the story. There has been no response thus far. We will continue to reach out, and if Calvin Brutus is watching at this point in time, feel free to contact us right here on 107.1 FM. I'm sure he knows how to get in touch with us here. Let's move on, though. Let's move on. Some people say that they see this as a distraction of bigger things and far more corruption by allegedly by Jagdeo and Irfan and all those criminals.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
Do you
He's
see
the
this
guinea
as
pig
a
here.
distraction? Sorry, sir. Do you see this as a distraction?
He's the guinea pig. They want to use Brutus to cover up their own shenanigans that they're involved in. They want to use Brutus. And what the society needs to do is not allow this situation to be one that has been thrown under the rug, and don't allow the other things to surface. We want to food everything. Let me throw up the entire bucket and let all the worms come out.
Let us throw the entire bucket. It's more than just a bucket, Lincoln. Barrels upon barrels of worms coming out of Jagdeo and Irfan and all of them in the corrupt PPP regime. Those top-notch people, lots and lots of worms, barrels upon barrels of worms. As we move on now, we just want to say, Brutus, if you're watching, sing, Brutus, sing. Don't let them sink you. Jagdeo basically called you a criminal. Don't let them sink you, Brutus. Do not let them sink you. Sing. Sing, Brutus. Sing, or they will come after you. Trust me, they will come after you. Sing, Brutus. Sing. Now, moving away from sing to Muhammad. Sing, Brutus, sing to Muhammad Irfan Ali. Irfan Ali sang a tune the other day, a $200,000 tune. And in less than 72 hours, he cut another record, a $100,000 tune. I want you to listen to this, Lincoln, and then we get your comments on this double-edged sword, so to speak. They're switching from 200 to 100, and then it may go down to 50, it may go down to 25, then they may say there's nothing for Guyanese.
Measures in keeping with my government's aim of increasing disposable income, creating better opportunities, and building prosperity for all the people of Guyana. As is always the case with such initiatives, my government's aim is to ensure ease of implementation, removal of barriers to access, and simplification of administrative procedures, always in the best interests of the population. It goes without saying that in a normal course of implementation, my government ensure pre and post testing and analysis of every measure. These analyses are critical to ensure the greatest impact and highest level of efficiency in the delivery of service. Over the past week, thousands of Guyanese have engaged myself and members of my cabinet, providing extremely favorable feedback on the measures announced last Thursday. And tens of thousands have publicly expressed their welcoming of these measures, particularly in relation to the announcement of a one-off cash grant of $200,000 to every household in Guyana. Several persons, families have indicated to my government the complications they foresee in the implementation of this much welcome benefit and the fear of being left out. It is the understanding of this fear. It is the understanding of the complexity they raise, even within and among families, and understanding the importance of feedback that we have received, included in internal family conflict about access and distribution of the grant. We have seen in recent days a rush to transfer registration of utility meters and a rush to prepare tenancy agreements, all of which is aimed at establishing a distinct household, as well as other complications that may arise in administering these benefits. Having regard to these challenges, whether real or perceived, I instructed last Friday that this measure be re-examined.
Let's go straight over to Lincoln Lewis. What's going on? Talk to us, please. Talk to us.
Let me say first of all, I am wedded to the idea of Professor Clive Thomas. I'm wedded to the idea which says a 5,000 US dollars per household. And if possible, let it go to individuals. Let me tell you why. What this man is, so what this president says there is that this is a one-off payment. If there's no assurance after this is paid that there will be another payment. There will be another payment. This is what this guy is saying. We have a lot of money and we can do a lot of things. If you plan to give cash grant to the citizens of this country, it is expected that you are going to use the database that is existing. Arrive at how much you're going to pay and how you're going to pay it. You have income tax, you have a database. You have birth and death, there's a database. And you have NIS. There's a database there. What you intend to achieve, you need to study this thing, how we want to do it, rather than just come out there and say we're going to pay $200,000 or $100,000. How it will be done, you need to carry out a study that at the end of time, it is foolproof. And there must be, and that will bring out what are the factors that will be used, or the criteria that will be used to determine these payments. They have not done that. What they have done is to throw some money at the nation for what we call preparing for the political campaign. But I want to warn people that this money is not Jagdeo, it's not orphanalion. It's not this country. And we all have a stake in it. And we all must, the stakeholders need to sit down to determine how this thing will be done. We don't want some people to get and some don't get. You may have a situation where they say everybody under 18. What they do, they're over 18, they bring up the ID card. What about those people who may have come into this country under strange circumstances and get ID card, like what I spoke about earlier? Right? They get ID card and they turn up and they get money, and many of us don't get. All these cash grants that they're talking about, what they're doing, they will not get a foolproof statement, a foolproof program, because that will not help them in creaming off what they would like to cream off. It will to discriminate against some people. It will not, and to discriminate in favor of another people. Let me give you an example why I don't believe in them. I live in a street where everybody knows me. Everybody knows me in the street. And all the cash grants that pay in this street here, nobody ever stopped at my home, you know. No one ever stopped at my home. I was never the recipient and never get a pink slip. I'm saying this to you, that I'm a public figure, everybody knows me. If I get to discriminate against me when it comes to it, tell me, what about the other man who talk out there? When the smart man come to me and say they didn't get, you don't believe that I must believe them? Let me tell you, my brother, that we have to arrive at a methodology how we're going to do it. And we got to arrive at how much we're going to give. And more so in that exercise, we need to determine how much money we're getting from oil and gas. We need to determine that. What are the amount of monies that we are getting from oil and gas? While people talking about, as one of my staff always said to me, you know, I don't want to hear, she said, I don't want to hear how much they got to negotiate this agreement or so on. She said, look, this little bit that we getting right now, we don't know how much we getting, and we ain't getting anything. And when you go and you negotiate more, is that they go with more and we get less. So I'm saying that against the backdrop that it is required of us to identify how much money is available. And after identifying that, we must look at how equitably it can be distributed in this country that everybody can benefit. It's not only the people directly, but indirectly. What can go to projects? What can go to health? What can go to education? Let me give you an example. We have a health system. This morning, let me tell you about it. We have an health system where the doctors will view the patients at the Georgetown Hospital or New Amsterdam or wherever they are. And if that person requires a major surgery, that person may have to go to a private hospital because the doctors work at the Georgetown Hospital, even nurses, and they also work at a private institution. At a private institution, when you go and you pay there, you understand me, you pay the market rate, and the doctor will be properly remunerated. Let me look at it that way. You know why it's so? Because we have not invested in the health services of this country. If we are paying the doctors decent wages and salaries, they would not have the reason to moonlight at another hospital, right? They would have done their same surgeries at Georgetown Hospital, which would have alleviated the challenges that people in this society faces. You know, we got to understand that. Let us look at the education system. We have what you call the 10-day work, the 10-day per month work program, right? We have that situation. Some people work 3 and they collect more than $40,000 or $60,000 a month. Why can we not look at how we are going to harness that group, that human resource, right? And train them consistent with the national plan to bring about what ought to be considered as the effective or a group of cadres that are technically trained to enter the permanent workforce at a time when we are at the beginning of the 4th Industrial Revolution. You know, we're not thinking all that. These guys not thinking about building this country. They are thinking how they can become rich. They can become millionaires and billionaires in the shortest possible period. These are challenges. Like when that guy, I can't remember his name, who talks from Freedom House every Thursday.
The butcher.
He comes out.
Unity.
The butcher from Unity, right? When he comes out and he says, "Oh, we are going to build 4 or 5, how much 5-star hotel in this country. What are you going to staff them with? Are we training people? We need this thing is building 5-star hotel is not only the issue of giving people a waiter and ask them to serve. And even that is professional. You need to know it. People have to be trained for that. We have to be trained in proper hotel management. Do we have those programs here? We'll need plumbers. We will need IT specialists. We will need electricians. We will need mechanics. In this planning, we have to look at how we are going to bring these people. We are going to earn our skills to really do better than we are doing. They're not thinking about that. 4 or 5 star hotel, and next day, DPI gone. 4-star hotel to be built by so. All that we're doing is talking about things, but we are not doing things to maintain them.
You know,
let me say to you, look at the buildings the public buildings that we have. The public buildings, they are known to build them. They are known to build the roads, but what are the things they don't do? They don't maintain them. So
and
you need people.
The quality of the roads too. The quality of the roads, horrible. You spoke about the health sector. They destroy the public hospitals and partner with their friends and cronies to build, in the most part, to build private hospitals. That is what's going on in the country. And notice recently they didn't introduce free tuition at the university level or even the vocational schools. They've reintroduced it. It was there all along until when they got into office and they instituted tuition at the vocational schools and the University of Guyana. They have deprived young people. They have deprived Guyanese for nearly 30 years of that. You're about to say something, but stick a pin there. Let us show them the West Dem Hospital, what is happening in Little Dubai, oil-rich Guyana. Dr. Rats, imported from God in heaven knows where. Freedom House imported these rats to take care of people in Guyana. The evidence is there, Lincoln.
Yeah, that's how we treat with state institutions. But let me say this to you. These people not the issue here about that 100,000 that they're talking about here. It goes beyond just 100,000. We need to talk about how we are going to address the whole question of the human resource development of this country. We have to take that into consideration. We have to understand that. And let me tell you what, when you put the 100,000 has to be buttressed by a number of other things. The issue of inflation, measures to address inflation. Okay, starting from the Bank of Guyana, how they treat with the US dollars. We need to, those things need to be looked at. The question here is that when I says the issue of the inflation, we need to look at how we are going to appreciate the Guyana dollar vis-a-vis the US dollar and the euro and other foreign currency. How are we going to bring it down? How are we going to use less US Guyana dollar to buy one US? Today, I believe the US dollar is somewhere around, the Guyana dollar is about 10 to 210 to about 1 US, 210 Guyana to buy 1 US dollar. If we can move that money put measures in place where that we can use 190 to buy a US dollar. It will be significant impact in the prices of the products that are both imported and are dealt with or produced in this country, like flour, like rice. We can look at it how we treat with them, right? These things that, because if you use US dollar to buy product, to import products into this country, and you're using less Guyana dollar to pay for the product, then the product of benefit to the man who had to purchase it. We need to have measures in place to deal with it. We have to look at all the issue of what you call it, the duties and all the duties that are out there that are placed on products, on foodstuff primarily. We even got to look at VAT. We got to look at these type of things. We have to look at new measures that can get an impact positively on bringing inflation down, on making the man a dollar does more than it is doing. Because all you're telling us, we're going to give you $200,000, but the corresponding measures to make sure that that 200,000 or 100,000 that the person may receive can buy more product, buy more food, can take them far away. You're not putting measures in place to make sure that that happens. And these are the type of things that that are absent in what Mr. Ali is saying, and we will definitely have to. Those are things we definitely have to look at. You know, we have to look at how we will address this whole issue of poverty. And what we are doing is pushing back all of it, as I said earlier, the 10-day work week period. People, we are not putting measures in place to bring them out of poverty by empowering them with the requisite skill. What we're doing is keeping them there and say, we're giving you money, so you stay there. When we can train them, they can be assimilated into the workforce. They can be making a productive contribution by working in industry. There are times you observe that the government would say, look, oh, at this time we'll meet so many hundreds of thousands of workers for this or that. Are we training for them? Are we doing that? Those are type of things we should be looking at. We're not helping the situation. We need to, the government got to stop and think about what to be done and how it can be done. But you know why we are in this plight? We are in the plight because they want to say, I do it, we do it. Like today, I understand the butcher from Unity, the butcher said that the opposition want to take credit that the 100,000, taking the 100,000, arriving at the 100,000 was their idea. I don't believe the opposition want to take credit. The opposition first went out there and say, and speak about the 100,000. That is a better idea. Whatever reason you find after justify what you think is the opposition idea. But rather than accepting that the opposition that comes with an idea, the opposition came with an idea, and that idea is constructive. And they appear to come with constructive ideas, and we embrace it. You want to say that the opposition never had an idea. That is the weakness of the government. never want to accept its failings, and never want to work with any group or individual unless that individual or a group is prepared to carry out their diktats. So we are in the business where we are continuing Trumpism in this country. Lie and more lies.
Lies and more lies as we prepare to wrap up tonight's program with our guest, veteran trade unionist, Lincoln Lewis. Let me say goodnight to all of you, wherever you're watching us from, whichever platform, whether you're on the Village Voice platform. Good night to all of you Village Voicers as well. Lincoln, before we go, and this has absolutely nothing to do with my pink tie, as we talked about earlier, pink slip. This is the amount. 40,600 pink slip recipients for second phase COVID-19 cash grant. 40,000, Lincoln, 40,000. And guess what? They are still waiting. Over 40,000 people have not received their pink slips. Their cash grants. All they got was a pink slip. And look what, they went into this community. They probably took their shame out of their face and decided they're going to write up this lady and give you a pink slip. People are concerned. They are afraid that this 100,000, they dropped it down from 200,000, an idea stolen from the opposition. They dropped it down to 100,000, another idea stolen from the opposition. And you're correct. They're not going to give credit to the opposition, and don't expect them to give any credit to the opposition, because thieves, vagabonds, and bandits do not give credit to anybody. What's your concern as we close off tonight, and use that in your closing remarks, that thousands upon thousands of people will be discriminated against? Forget about Jagdeo and Irfan talking about people setting up meters, people setting up tenancy and all sorts of nonsense. Your take on fear factor that people are going through right now, that they are not there, that they are going to be discriminated against with this 100,000 one-off, 100,000 they get, and that's it, nothing more, according to the corrupt PPP regime. 40,000 pink slip, still waiting.
Rights and the rule of law are not two elements in the lexicon, nor the brain of or in the thought of the operatives of this government. These people must pay this money, and we all must hold ourselves responsible for it. These people have to come out and march for the money. They got to go and picket for the money. They got to do that. They got to go out and picket for their money. They cannot sit down taking these pink slips and murmuring in the background. Guys, people will take it for a time, until such time that they will explode.
Until such time they can't take it no more.
No more, and they will explode. People, the government taking kindness for granted. Want to urge everyone, don't hold government accountable when they come now to share this set of money. Hold them accountable for all the pink slips that were given in the past and they have not honored. Hold them accountable for the census, national census, that they don't want to make public. Because those are the type of things they are going to use in society to hoodwink us. time has come for us to continue holding hands, be our brothers and sisters keepers, and work towards bringing about a change in this country. We cannot, we sit every day, nearly every Guyanese I meet, they tell you about the situation in the United States, oh, Donald Trump is a liar, oh, he's this, oh, he's that. I'm saying to you that you are speaking about a national in the United States. You are a national here. Apply the same measures you want people to apply there, apply the same measures here. Hold the men and women accountable. Don't buy their lies. Buy the stories that they are telling you. Good night. May we all have a better tomorrow. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you so much, veteran trade unionist Lincoln Lewis. May we have a better tomorrow. In order to have a better tomorrow, the PPP must go. The lies, the failed policies and programs and all manner of things under this corrupt PPP regime. Let's face reality. They do not have a plan. They just do not have a plan. We don't know what they're going to get up tomorrow morning and implement. That is how they're running the country. Worse than a cake shop operator. I have far more respect for somebody who's selling block pudding or tennis roll or pulori in a small stand outside at the street corner than I have for these vagabonds, these thieves in the PPP regime. Lincoln Lewis, again, thank you so much for your time. I know when, as it pertains to the cash grant, oil cash grants for people, you guys have been studying that at Crichton Labor College, and also the Guyana Trades Union Congress kind of piggybacked there and did massive research after Dr. Clive Thomas made his announcement. All of these things, the PPP, all of these ideas from Clive Thomas, from the Guyana Trades Union Congress, from others, they are stealing people's ideas. They have none of their own, none. They are bankrupt, intellectually bankrupt. PPP, Jagdeo, and Irfan Ali. Lincoln, it looks as though you wanted to say something else quickly. Am I correct?
Well, I'm glad that you've invited me, and I'm open to come again to deal with this issue.
Please do. We invite you again. Don't be a stranger. We've got to go, but before we do, remember 40,000 people have been deprived, discriminated against with a $25,000 of COVID cash grant, COVID relief. If they did this to 40,000 people, 25,000, they robbed those people. Shame on the PPP, shame on Jagdeo, shame on Irfan Ali. They robbed poor people, 40,000 poor people, they robbed them, Lincoln, of $25,000. Can you imagine what they're going to do with the people's $100,000? Rob them even more. A pack of thieves, criminals, and vagabonds at Freedom House and Office of the President. Lincoln, I know there's much more we can talk about. When you walk around tomorrow in the city, please be careful. The city is gone right back to where it was when Jagdeo and Donald Ramatar, they were in office. Right back. Look at the condition of the city. They can't blame City Hall because they're starving City Hall of subvention. But Mr. Mayor, if you're watching, please do something. The Mayor of Georgetown, do something. Get your guys and y'all do it. Let the people see that the PPP is starving you guys of funds, but you guys are going to go out and do it yourselves. For now, my name is Mark Benchup. All of you, go over to the Village Voice News and read up some news. Read up what's happening there. God bless you all. People are saying wow to the condition of Georgetown. Wow. Mr. Mayor of Georgetown, Mr. Mentor, please wake up. Wake up, please. Because at the end of the day, this is how the people feel right now. Take care, Lincoln. Take care, everyone.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then prison. Them ain't want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I don't
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Sujurong?
Sue. Oh, Sue.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Sujurong?
Sue. Oh, Sue.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you
Yeah, my name is Jasmine Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cop, and what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.